Yeah. Happy Friday! I hope everybody's having a great week. I'm hoping everybody is doing well. If not, you know where we are. You can give us a call in at 267-737-8031. If this is your first time on, please know that we are here to support anybody that is in need of support from substance use disorder, mental illness, whatever, recovery. It doesn't matter what you're here for. If you are actively using, we're here to support you as well. And just, talk recovery, talk support, talk hope. We're here to offer suggestions to anybody out there that is in need of some reassurance and support. So we have Larry on with us tonight. He's back in the house.
Larry's our good friend of the show. Always comes in at a pinch.
Yep.
Yeah, welcome to Recovery Chat.
Yes.
Living Hopeful tonight.
The Three Stooges tonight. Larry, Mo, and Curly.
I'm subbing for Johnny tonight. I'm the John Davidson
Larry
of
the Cheese.
The Tonight Show, yeah.
Yes.
Or am I the Joan Rivers? I don't know.
Edgar.
Yes. And, we had our 100th show last week. Larry was a surprise guest. He came on and sat in the background. He didn't say much, but...
he brought a casserole.
Yeah. And
Everybody bring casseroles. I mean, you bring casserole for everything. Death,
yes.
birth.
And our family support meeting last Wednesday was awesome. 47 people in the house. And it was our 10-year anniversary. So there was pizza, there was dessert, there was just a lot of support.
A lot of people.
A lot of catching up with people that are in a good place. Some people are still not in a good place. And some were there that have lost somebody. And unfortunately, that is, part of this disease. Not everybody makes it through. So if you are out there, you're struggling, please know that there is help, there is hope, and there is support.
Yeah, man. And the sooner the better.
Yep. And I don't do the God thing because
Larry's here.
But a lot of people don't believe in the God thing, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You have to believe in what you need to believe in. But today, God was there with me. We were having some issues, and I'm telling you, He was there. He reached out at the last minute and did what needed to be done, and I'm so grateful for that. So, when you are struggling, I don't care who you have to reach out to for a prayer, for juju, whatever. Just reach out.
That sounded anti-Semitic.
Just reach out, because there's something out there. I believe it's God, but believe whoever it is that you want to, but know that there's somebody out there, and there's somebody listening, and there's somebody there that just is there for you. Welcome Barb, Eric, Marge, Christine. That's all I see in the comments, but I see that there's a lot more out there. But just grasp on to whatever you need to grasp on to get you another day, to get you another minute. Just know that there is support out there, and right here in the house. Don't hesitate.
Lori, can you share your information? I have a friend watching right now, has someone close to them using. They really need family support. Well, you've come to the right place.
Right. Marge, just give them the phone number, 267-737-8031. If they are looking for us to watch the show, have them jump on to YouTube, look for Living Hopeful, and look for the pinkish background with the Tree of Life. That's us.
They're watching right now.
Yep. So, we're here, and, if you are struggling, if you do have capability on your phone or your laptop to enter in the comments anything that you're struggling with, please don't hesitate. Put it in the comments. We're here, we're watching them, and we will reach out and see, what we can offer you as far as our suggestions, what we've been through, and how we got through it.
And especially any newcomers, don't be afraid to ask any questions. I mean, don't think your question is too trivial or whatever you might think. I mean, we'll answer all questions, and that's what we do, and we do it a long time. We try to help you. That's what we're all about, especially with the newcomers, because we were the newcomer one time, and we didn't know where to turn. And luckily it took us a while to go through the channels and stuff and get things figured out. But that's what we do now. We used to work with people on the front lines in addiction, the addicts themselves, right? Down in the streets of Kensington and stuff, and we noticed that the families are being left behind. They're being left behind. They don't know where to turn. So we kind of changed gears a few years ago. So now we work with with spouses, siblings, families, all the people's trapped in the grasp of addiction, and we try to sort things out for them and have things make sense to them, because we know in the beginning none of this is making sense to you. You don't understand why your loved one does what they do, and what the driving force is, and so forth, and what you can do. And we don't tell you what to do, but we tell you what's worked for us, what hasn't, and you can take from that whatever you think is a good fit for you. You know what I mean? Nobody tells you what to do. Everybody's journey is different in this, but you're not alone. You can't surprise us with anything you tell us. We've heard it all. Trust me. It's really hard to surprise us. And don't be ashamed. It's not a moral failure on your part or your addict's part. It's just something that happens. It's a disease. You might not think it's a disease yet, but after you get educated, you stick with us, you'll learn to understand that it truly is a disease. Nobody chooses to live in this manner. It's beyond their strength. It's beyond their abilities. I mean, once it crosses over to the realm of addiction, I mean, they're not doing this to have fun, to get high. They're doing this to get well now. And it's hard for a lot of people to wrap their head around, especially in the beginning. They don't understand it. They just want to say, why don't they just quit? Why do they put themselves through this living hell and their families? It's not that easy.
Can't just quit.
It's not that easy. It's you're ill. You feel ill, whether it be drugs or alcohol. I mean, you feel you're physically ill, and you have to take your drug of choice to feel well again, to get through your next day. And it's just an endless cycle, unless something changes to break that cycle. And that's what we say: nothing changes if nothing changes. And that's Lori's favorite term. And that's how it works. So, the newcomers there, feel free to text in. Feel free to call in on our hotline there. You're live on the show, 267-737-8031. You can call in anonymously. You don't have to give your name. Call in, ask a question.
And
we got 4 people here in the room from all different angles.
And what are the 3 C's?
You didn't cause it, you can't control it, and you can't cure it.
Yes. And just for the person out there that is struggling with a loved one, there is a book out there. I recommend several books, but if you go on to Living Hopeful, you can go scroll through and find them. I'll pop them up again tonight after the show. But there is a book called Get Your Loved One Sober. And it's based on the craft. I believe we're going to start supplying them at our family group. And it's an amazing book to help a loved one, and it's not real big. It's not a big read. So, check that book out. You have Beyond Addiction. You have The Balm, BALM, and you have, your SESH book, the Sharing Experience, Strength, and Hope. And Barb, yes, I am here for anybody that is struggling. I will be here. I can hold your hand. I can take you to a meeting. I will do whatever I need to help you. I can sit and talk with you. You can cry. You could scream. You could shout. Just don't hit me. And, that's what I'm here for. I know where I was. I know how lost I was in the beginning. And it doesn't matter if it's a spouse, if it's a friend, if it's a relative, if it's a parent.
Hey, I think I
You
better
know.
confuse people when I said that. Like we're dealing just with families. It's not just with families. Like
No,
Lori
it's
says,
not.
we deal with we help people in active addiction. We just don't do on the streets outreach. Is what I should say.
Yeah,
But we do have a lot of resources. We have a lot of people we can turn to on many different issues, no matter what it is. If we can't answer that question, we have the people to reach out to, and we could direct you to the people
that you need
you can reach
to.
out to find out the answers to what you need. As far as finding rehab centers or different courses of rehabilitation. I mean,
Right.
different avenues, whether it be medically assisted treatment, being MAT is is the abbreviation there.
And Barb, you're right. I don't care if your family, I don't care if you are in the throes of active addiction. I don't care if you're in recovery. I am here to help along the way, no matter what. As well as Eric is in the house, he's always available to chat with. Just message him. He is always open for that. I hope you're still open for that, Eric. You always have been.
Yeah,
so-
we got Barb out there. Barb is the kid tell you out there. Living
And we
proof
have
of
we
recovery
have
works.
Larry as well.
We have a caller.
We have a caller.
How are you, caller?
I'm fine. How are you?
We are good.
Good. I have a message for Barb.
Hey Barb, she's listening.
Love you. You take care. Keep
Yep.
up the good work.
Yes. She's doing good. She better be doing good.
Doing good, juggling 2 jobs, got all being a grandma,
Yeah.
everything.
She's here, and that's what matters. And I know you're going
Yeah.
through some stuff too, so
With California checking in, folks.
everybody's
California checking
changing.
in.
There's so much change going on. It's just,
And some of it's for the better.
Everybody's
yes.
going through change. Larry went from boxers to briefs. He's having a hard time with the adjustment, but he's working his way up the thongs.
And
Yeah.
hi,
See me
Larry.
working my way.
And
Take care.
and
Take
mom
care. I'm
and
signing
mom
off.
Barb says thank you so much. You make me smile.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay. Love you.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too.
Right.
See ya.
That was California. And I've said it before. I was here. We did the show for a while on my kitchen table, and I was just like, well, I don't know. We didn't have many people that were popping in, so I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore. I don't seem to be, getting anybody in that really needs help. And that night, I swear there's somebody up there that's listening, and
And we don't discuss religion or politics on our show. Oh, I'm sorry.
but I was ending the show. I was done, and I got a message from 2 people that were on the verge of relapse, and they went to a meeting instead, and now we're at 101 shows. So that's why I'm here. That's why I keep coming back.
Give you that extra edge, that extra push, that we're your cheerleader.
Yes. And Barb is doing good. I'm
Larry's
so
got his
proud and
pom-poms
so
on the
happy
floor here.
to hear that. And Larry's here tonight, and Larry is bringing some topic. It's awesome. This is what this is about. So if you have topics out there,
That was like our on the street reporter.
right, don't hesitate to pop in
Type right
a
out.
comment or give us a call with what you need to get help with. Larry's here. He has some topics that he wants to talk about, and that's awesome. But if you are out there and you have something on your chest that you need to get off, pop in, comments, call. We can always go back and forth. So
Barb says hi.
Yes,
Don't-
there is no one topic.
no. Margie says, I was born in Kensington and I would be terrified to walk the streets down there. I don't ever remember it being that bad. I wish we could shut all the dealers down. Well, that's in the real beautiful world, but that's not going to happen.
I think we got a better chance of curing cancer than I right now, especially right now.
Yeah.
The
So,
drug trade is and it's
you know, it is.
it is off the rails.
Yeah. So we can only pray that there's an epiphany out there one day and everybody gets it and just stops.
All right, Larry, you got the floor, buddy.
Okay,
What do you got
well,
to offer?
I want to go back to new people. Well, it doesn't matter what side of the addiction aisle you're on, whether the user or the parents or loved one of, there's always a first day, there's always a first time. So if you have something you want to say, call in. There's a question there's no stupid questions. There are none. Questions are questions. When I started, trying to get my life together, I had a lot of questions I thought were stupid or unintelligent, but, if the question, you ask it. You get your answer, and if it's good for you, great. You just got to keep pushing, but you have to start somewhere. You have to take the first step. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Can't get anywhere if you don't move your feet. So start moving those tootsies and call in. And if you have a question, either side of the aisle. And, a couple things. Well, I was at another meeting on Zoom, and one of the topics was we can't think our way sober. Intelligence is no defense against alcoholism. And I was thinking about that too, because, I went to a lot of meetings with a lot of different people in a lot of different places. And, it doesn't matter, if you never got out of grade school or you got 18 master's degrees, the addiction is still the addiction. Doesn't matter how well you speak or how well you can't speak. Because, it's a very different field. There's whole different people with different education levels, but they all had the same thing,
An equal opportunity destroyer.
Yeah.
It doesn't pick and choose any.
Yeah. You could use
One
4
group.
words, or you could use a 4-letter word, not obscene, or you can use a word that has 13, letters in it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If you're addicted, you're addicted. Me, my addiction was the alcohol. But the thing was, you get it out, and I had to get comfortable with myself to get it out, and now I roll. Now, and when I talk about my situation, I'm not afraid to talk about it. All the ups and downs, especially the downs. I had to start at the bottom to get to where I am now, and I let people know that, their story is no different from mine. Might have different characters, a different play, a different scene, but, hit that bottom, you have to work it. I had to work it. I'm not supposed to use the you word, but sometimes that sneaks into.
You.
Yeah. So, that's just the way it goes. And
And that bottom, that's another thing. So many people, it's such a catchphrase.
Yeah.
How they hit rock bottom. Rock. Well, guess what? They always seem to find a little trap door at that rock
Yeah.
bottom to sink even lower in
Yeah.
their addiction.
got to throw
So
out that
that's-
shovel. Throw away the shovel.
You got to be careful with that bottom. But same token, through enabling, you deny them their bottom. That's another expression. It's a whole balancing act.
Yeah, as much as you love them, and much as you don't know what extremes you go to.
Right.
Nothing's ever going to work unless the person wants to work it.
Yeah.
And then when they want to work it, the other side has to basically stay out of the way and let them do the work that needs to be done. That's the way I learned. And I'm not, my sponsor was the best thing that ever happened to me, as well as going to meetings and other things. But, he was plain. He wasn't enabling. He wouldn't pat me on the back or slap me in the face. He said, this is yours. This is your recovery. This is, if you want some advice and want some help, I'll give it to you. But it's nothing, you're not going to get candy and you're not going to get beat over the
And
head.
it's not always what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta just
And
bite down and just listen through it and
Yeah.
hear it out.
Yeah, and another thing, what was it today? The gratitude thing too. Gratitude, it's like, be grateful. I'm grateful for what I have, but I'm confident but not cocky about where I am in my sobriety. And, it's one thing to be grateful, But, it's another thing to really be conceited about it too. Look at me, I'm sober now. Look at me, I'm so great. Yeah, who knows a week from now what's going to happen to me? Will I be back on the street drinking again? Not if I stay with the program. And you got to be humble. I have to be humble about this. I can't, sure, I know I'm a better place than I was 6+ years ago, but, I have to keep working the program. I have to realize, any time that situation's going to come up for me where I'm going to be really tempted. And how am I going to react to it? How
lifelong commitment. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a curable disease. It's a manageable disease.
Yeah.
It's like with the right management, you can live a perfectly happy, healthy life. But, if you don't keep current in it and keep it fresh, your recovery fresh
Yeah.
in your mind through meetings or whatever such, you get complacent and get away from it. You can end right back up at square one. It's
Yeah.
like,
That's why I go sometimes twice a day. Tonight is 3 times. I went in-person meeting, Zoom meeting, and I'm here tonight. And it's like, for me, it's like, there's never too much.
right.
Every
you're
day
very
it's one
devoted to your
meeting, yeah.
recovery. I can honestly say that about you. You're probably one of the most devoted people I know.
Yeah,
To the
well,
recovery.
I have to
And-
be.
And very devoted to those
To
that
help
are.
people. Larry just loves helping other people. He really gives of himself all the time.
Yeah, except for money, but things.
You pay back at seltzers.
Yeah, seltzer. Yeah,
Right,
water.
who's the
Yeah,
best
the
flavored
Gunga
seltzer
Din of
water?
the family support.
That and the highfalutin ones too. The Deer Park sparkling seltzers and
Yeah,
all these great flavors. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to go off on a side there, but I just had to give Larry kudos.
yeah. And another thing here is too, forgiving the unforgivable, making amends with those beyond redemption. And there are people out there that, I have a very difficult time making amends with them because it's the humble thing again. It's like, am I going to carry this? Is this person going to live in my head now because of whatever the situation was? And, if the one person was sharing that the way, was it yesterday or no, tonight, where they said, they had a confrontation with a person in work. Yeah, it was in my morning meeting because, this person, they have 3 shifts. So, there are orders that have to be made up. So the guy on the second shift, he made the order up and put it on paper. And I don't know what happened between the third shift and the morning shift, but it's, it got lost or screwed up or something. And there was a little confrontation between him and the person who ran the morning shift. And, he wasn't wrong about what he did what he was supposed to do, but, he wanted to, he didn't want to leave it that way with any kind of anger or have the other person misunderstand him and thinking that, I'm getting on your back because, you're wrong, stop blaming me. So he talked to that person and, straighten it out. He said, I can't let stuff like this linger. I have to straighten it out and get everything, even though I was
get your
right.
shift together.
Yeah, shift together, yeah. Bull shift, yeah. Okay, and, even though he felt he was right, but it was just the idea, like humbling yourself and trying a situation, trying to iron it out. So there are no hard feelings. There are no leftover resentments. I mean, I have a couple too. I have one in particular that I find it very difficult to approach that person. But I don't have it, in my case, I'm not affected by it. I put it in the box and stick it in the shelf. It's not living in my head. Even though, it definitely is not right, but that's what I choose to do. And all the things, I'm right there, right in a minute. And, what's it, step 10? You make your daily inventory every day. And if I've hurt somebody, I try, to make amends with them if I can. And, I try to clear my head at the end of the day. And this way, I don't have to let stuff build up. Like I went through the steps a couple times, and, it's all the years of stuff that build up, whether it was me, whether it was them, whether it was nothing, whatever it was. And, wrote it down, spoke to the people that I offended or think offended me or whatever the situation was, and just ironed it out. And, some people took it nicely, some people didn't. But, I had to do what I had to do, and So, and not only once, but I went through it twice. It's amazing how I went through it the first time. I thought, well, I got all this and I think I've got it all. But as the memory kicks in, I started to remember, like, oh, this person or that situation. So I wrote it down again, made them the second list, and it was easier for me the second time around because I was comfortable in my own skin. I had more time sober, more time working the program. And I did what I had to do again. Then I do that step 10 where I don't let stuff build again. I do my daily routine, daily, how did my day go? Did I hurt anybody?
Whoa, was that an ethnic slur?
Yeah, well, hey, I'm Italian. I can say that.
I
So,
know that.
yeah, so-
That's your word.
Yeah,
I can't say, but I know
Yeah.
you can.
yeah, sleep with the fishes.
That's
Yeah.
your word.
But things like that. It's it's the humbleness. It's the wanting and needing to keep working it. You don't look for that fool's gold. That's another thing we discussed today too. About you think you have it made, and you worry about the car, you worry about your security, and and you start to forget about your sobriety. And it all combines. And, you can't think you have it. I can't think I have it made because, sure, I'm good today. I'm happy today. I don't think about a drink, but that's because I work it every day. I know it's a me I'm talking about, but that's all I know is me. I can't tell anybody about how this person worked, how they worked it out. Everybody takes a different path, and I took my path my way, and other people took their paths. It's just like, we all take different roads down to our addiction, no matter what it is, drugs or alcohol. We don't follow the same tracks down to the so-called bottom. We all have our different tunnel as we slide on down, but we all work our way back up too. If we want it, if we're willing to work for it. If things don't happen for me. Things don't happen right. Didn't happen right away. I wasn't 30 days. I wasn't a year or 2 years thinking, wow, I feel great. I just did the program, and gradually, things started to turn around for me. My opinion of me turned around, and I felt, confident in what I was doing. I knew this was the direction I needed to take, and I took it, and I'm glad I did. And many times I could have said, I can't do this anymore. I can't stand it. It was the program mixed in with outside stuff like the job, like getting to the job with no car, no license, taking 2 buses and a train, going from Philly to Jenkintown every day, getting a 4:20 in the morning bus, but instead of complaining and crying about it, it helped discipline me too. It helped me realize that, if this is what you want, if you want to be sober, if you want to have your job, this is what you have to do until you get a car and get your license back. And, you keep working and keep working it. Good. Boo-hooing myself wasn't going to do anything, but I'll be a failure. So, it was like no happiness, no sadness. It was just like I can give it the Mr. Spock, thing there where it's just like, just do it.
I think that's a key word you said there, disciplining yourself, because when when you're in the throes of addiction, your life is chaos. I mean, you live in chaos, and the only thing that's important is that one thing, And so by disciplining yourself, it gets you into a routine, and it helps other things fall into place for you, because it's hard to keep everything juggled and real. You know what I mean? You're so easily, you can go right back to that chaos. So, like you said, it was a hardship at first, but as you getting up that early and having to take public transportation and such, that was something you never did before. And it was an adjustment, no doubt. But like you said, it helped you. I mean, it got you into a routine, and that's like what recovery houses do. They get you into a routine. You got to do this every day. You got to make your bed, that anyway. I look for a job, where, at home, with your loved ones and all that's harder to enforce on people to get into a routine. I mean, that was just a good point there. You said how to.
And the loved ones too. They could sabotage the situation because I could understand a person who goes home and honestly tries to work the program, and then like we'll say the parents or the loved one, they want to help so much that they're actually, interfering with the person's recovery
Exactly.
and
That's
kind
a
of
hard one to get
sabotaging the
across to people.
situation. Yeah, they mean well, but
Sure.
Because and addiction is a very selfish disease, extremely selfish disease. But the recovery is just as selfish. And you think, okay, they went to treatment, they're all better now, so everything's good, we'll go back to the way it was. And it's just not that way. They have to take that time. They have to set those boundaries for themselves. They have to build back a routine for themselves. And it's so hard when you have to throw meetings in there, work in there, family in there, responsibility to, taking care of the house, the car. Like there's so much. And a lot of that has to do with the relapse, because it's just so overwhelming once you leave that treatment center, how overwhelming it is, because now you have to go back to life and live on life's terms and fit those meetings in, and the family has to be like, well, okay, we'll just hold off dinner until 8 o'clock, and then you get the phone call, we're going to go to the diner for coffee, somebody needs help, and it's just like, what the like
Bleep,
you know?
bleep, bleep. I was ready to hit the dump button.
But
we need
that's
a dump button, engineer.
that is the reality of recovery, and it's hard. It's so much harder on a spouse, because they've been holding down the fort while you did the 30 days. They've been taking care of the bills, and they have been taking care of the kids. They've been doing the laundry, shopping, like they have done everything, and they are now a single parent, a single spouse trying to get the day done. That is like the most important thing that the families need to understand, that until they get that time under their belt, they have to put themselves first. But again, our loved ones also have to remember that they need to go to work. They need to help out where they can fit it in. So, making a schedule is so important when you get back into that reality.
And Barb, I read your comment before you thought twice and deleted it. It was a good comment. A lot of times when we get out of treatment, we are all gung-ho and on. You're riding that cloud. You know what I mean? That's a very common feeling.
that's a
And,
dangerous
you
thing.
took it down. There was nothing wrong with what you said. That's very true.
Yeah.
And, that's why it's important. You got to keep it real. You got to keep a program, because you lose that gung-ho-ness, and then you become complacent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That pink turns purple.
You gotta keep it fresh. You gotta keep it interesting for you. I hate to say entertaining, but you gotta keep it so it keeps your attention, and then you get involved, and then you want to help other people, and so forth and so on. And in doing so, it helps you continue your program. It doesn't get stale and boring and hearing the same old. You know what I mean? So, but that's a very common occurrence. Just for being all gung ho, fresh out. And then it starts wearing off, or they're like sending somebody else chiming in, and you gotta go hit a meeting.
Been there,
do
done that.
something.
Yep. Went out the first time, got out of rehab. Oh, I was great. I was the perfect, I'm the poster boy for being cured of alcoholism. 3 years later, I'm drinking again, and I drank for a lot of years after that. And, at another point, I was kind of fortunate because I was living by myself. So I had nobody to come home to. And, so disciplining myself too. It was like not just work and meetings, but in the beginning it was parole. I had to go downtown to the parole office. I had to go to IOP and OP and down, like Market Orthodox, so it's called the Arid Transportation Center now. And it was like 3 times a week the IOP, then it took regular OP 2 times a week, plus the meetings, plus the job, and but eventually, for me doing it and have that mindset that this needs to be done, so I have to do it. I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to cry about it. And, I save my tears for when I really need to cry, not for over stuff like this.
Them Hallmark novels. Sorry.
No, that was an Ozzy quote. Yeah. Yeah. Time to spread your wings and fly. Stop wishing, but, for the better. You have to do it on your own.
And
Stop.
Eric had a comment on it. He says, as a parent who's in recovery themselves, it's like a knife to their heart to see a child suffering from substance abuse. Helpless is an understatement. Yeah, we do feel helpless. And many spouses and parents do when they find out their child, is trapped in the grasp of addiction. They don't know where to turn. They feel like it was like a moral failure or something on their part as a parent.
Yeah.
Or even a spouse. Did I not give them enough love? Did we not show them enough love? Did we give them too much freedom? You start beating yourself up and blaming yourself, and that's why it's very important, for everyone to get educated, because you'll just be. We see parents just devastated by it. We were blindsided. What the hell did we go wrong? What did we do? Where did we fail?
Yeah.
And it's not the case. Addiction is just something that happens. It's nobody's fault. Well, it's the addict's fault. They tried it. Well, that was a choice in the beginning, but it very, very quickly isn't a choice anymore. It becomes a way of life. It must, and it's hard for people at first to really understand that or believe in that. Thinking that it's a choice. It's not a disease. It's a choice. And I used to think like that. I've said this number of times on the show. My God, I was like stumbling on them words. Did you hear that? Like, but so I don't get mad at people now because I was that person one time. I used to feel like that. Like, just stop. Why don't you just stop? Why you're killing yourself? You're killing the family. Just freaking grow up. Stop. You know what I mean? And it's not like that.
And Barb, you have to remember that they're so used to that cycle, that they're still walking on eggshells, until they see that, you have time under your belt and you're doing the right things. I just was facilitating a meeting last night, and that was one of the biggest things for the families, feeling joyful
They're
and
afraid to let their
happy.
guard down,
But on the other end, they're still they're so hesitant to continue that joy and that happiness because they're waiting for that shoe to drop again. And and it's time. Things I must earn. And John Tanzi shared that with us in the beginning of the shows, and I just love that. We have to remember that we have to let our family, also heal in their time frame, but it is time that will get your family to, okay, I'm so glad she's going to these meetings because I look and I see how happy she is and how strong she is. And
That's like a dog that's bit you a few times, It's like, well, I took that dog to training, obedience, but now, how long is it going to be before you can really pet that dog where you feel confident that you're not going to suffer the consequences? It's going to take a while. And you're going to be very hesitant. Not to compare you to a dog, but I'm just trying to say it's going to take a while to gain all that trust back and for people to feel confident in what's going to happen. It's tough, but you can't get angry at them.
no,
Just push through it, man, and go through it. It's part of life, and you know you're doing the right thing, and eventually they'll all be on board 100%.
yeah,
Takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a while. This isn't gonna be something that happens overnight, and you're still in. You're still in the early part of recovery. I don't know when it becomes you know, a long part, like, you know, because this is something you deal with and live with for the rest of your life. Like, it's not like, oh, I have 10 years under my belt. That's, you know, that's a good sign. Like, I can have a drink now. You can't. It really.
Look at it as though they're
Been there,
looking
done
out
that.
for you.
Right.
I mean, not just saying, oh, she's going to do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
They're actually asking you. I mean, they're looking out for you.
Yeah.
Look at it that way. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
And just know that they love you, and you know they're there for you. They're gonna stay there for you, and be your biggest cheerleader when they know, you know, what you're up to. Take them to some of the functions that are out there so that they can see what you're doing, how you're doing it.
She's trying to sell her a dance ticket. Look, she's the lead. It's the lead in.
Yeah.
She's a great
By
salesman.
the way,
Great
no,
salesman. By the
I'm
way,
serious. They have so many events. You follow things on Facebook. I try to post things that are coming up in the community that are sober, that people can go to, that they can enjoy, and a lot of them are free. Picnics, they have like softball and just all kinds of different things, volleyball. So look for those sober things, and get out there and take the family and let them see what an amazing time they can have without alcohol or a substance. And
I didn't even know how much fun we had until I started hanging out with all my sober friends here. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, it's like a whole nother world
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
great. I
Yeah.
tell you, that dance, you know,
Yeah.
go to the dance. It's amazing to see 200 people there. Nobody's drinking. Everybody's sober. Everybody's laughing. You know, it's basically, you know, it's like party without the alcohol. You don't need the alcohol. You don't need the drugs. We thought like, you know, well, have a few and dance around and go crazy.
I would
I
say
like
I
to
didn't have
dance.
the phone without the music, though.
Yeah.
Very important, the
Sure.
entertainment.
So
Yes. Well, the dance is on March 18th. Jackson has her dress. Oh my God, she looks like a little. She called herself. She goes, Gigi, I look like Rapunzel the Queen. So now you have to come because you have to see her in her dress. She can't wait. So yeah. So she says 306th day, and some days I was so very close to screw it up. And, you know, you're going to have those days. You're going to have those days. And you know what? That's why you have those phone numbers. That's why you have those things, you know, that are there, that are available to you. That's why you leave with your toolbox, and you open that toolbox as much as you can. You're gonna love her. She's awesome. But yes, please let me know. I have tickets in hand. Let me know how many you want. See if the family will come. Hopefully you'll have 10 people and you'll have your own table. So get 10 family members together and I can get you your tickets. But it's on March
18th, 17th.
18th.
I don't know.
March 18th. At Georgine's upstairs. And I'm trying to find the flyer. But March 18th, I believe it is. I was just at the meeting last night before the other meeting.
And get back to, you know, if you start getting a little squirrely about it and you start worried about, I could have done this, I might have relapsed. That's why you have phone numbers. That's why you have to use them. You have to call your sponsor. If you have one, call people. Just don't white knuckle it, because that could be one of the worst things, at least in my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
I white knuckled it the first time around and didn't work for me. The second time around, as soon as I have anything close to a thought, especially at the beginning, I called my sponsor right away, and it works. You know, sometimes you stand on that ledge, and you almost wait for somebody to talk it down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so call them up and let them talk it down.
March 18th. There it is.
Be there. Get your dancing
March
shoes on.
sober St. Patrick's celebration. Dinner and dancing.
Yeah, no tap dancing because the metal bottoms will scratch the floor. So,
And it's awesome because we were and I know I shared this on the first dance, but they weren't going to give us some servers because why give them servers? None of them are drinking. And they had such a blast during this, and the manager went down to the kitchen and she said, what is going on up there? And she goes, you'll never believe there's 200 people upstairs dancing and having a great time, and not one of them is drinking or using drugs. And they sent up the extra servers because we did what we needed to do. We had fun. We just had a blast. That's so funny. Did you see what she had said in there?
Well, there's a whole bunch of things said here.
She said,
Sober dance lessons?
no, she said, oh, where did it go? I want to say I'm a grown ass woman.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny. She said
That's our big thing
that's
in
one of
our
our big sayings.
family group. And he's a grown ass man. That's awesome that you put that in there. That just caught my little giggle. That's
Should come. The food's great.
the food is
Tickets are
amazing.
fairly
Yes.
priced. I mean, it's
you have to come, man. I mean,
all
you're gonna
food,
have
great music,
one hell
a
of a
lot of
good time,
people,
believe me.
raffles, just a good time all around. Just no alcohol.
you don't need it.
and
You wake up
Marge-
next morning and you feel good.
Yeah.
And Marge, if they are telling you that they can't find a sponsor, it's because they're not going to meetings and they're not putting in the work. That's why you can't find a sponsor. That's the only reason you can't find a sponsor. Because that doesn't mean you have to get a sponsor and keep that sponsor. You keep going until you
Yep.
find the
There
right
you go. You got
sponsor.
8 people walk around and say, "Hey, you need a sponsor? Hey, you need a sponsor? Hey, it's not work like that."
Yes, text me, Barb. I'll get you the tickets. And if anybody out there is willing or wanting to help and can't make it to the dance, we are accepting baskets for raffles, big ticket items,
This is what, our 5th one?
gift cards. 5. This is number 5, I believe.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, you'll have fun.
It's a great time.
Yeah, you'll be amazed.
Right.
It's so much fun. People laughing, having a great time. It's I don't see a frown in that place.
Right.
Of course, there's always somebody who's but there's 99% of the people they're having a blast. Because I know when I went, I had a hell of a good time. I
Right.
didn't need the alcohol. I didn't need any kind of things like
No.
that. It was just the people. The people around you, the dancing, being goofing off, and
And
it was great.
Nobody
And
getting
you know,
all
and
sloppy.
you know
drunk.
what the thing is, and I think the biggest thing is when you are in recovery, you're going through recovery. The biggest part of recovery is learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So people can get out there and just feel comfortable around the people that have gotten you to where you are, and knowing that the people that are there are people that were in your position once. Just have fun. That's what it's
That's
about.
one thing I noticed. People are still acting as silly and as funny as they would
Yeah.
if they were drinking out there. They're still out there with their friends and doing silly things, make each other laugh, and just dancing all crazy. It's like you wouldn't even know. You really
Yeah.
don't know the difference.
And Eric says sponsorship is a matter of attraction rather than promotion. Keep going to meetings and one will come to you. That's so true. And again, I'll be the first one. I'm sorry, but if you can't find If you're saying you can't find a sponsor, then you're not going to meetings, because they have phone lists, they have sponsors, they have people willing to take somebody under their wing. And again, you don't have to stay with that person. You can shop around, but grab onto somebody to get you started, until that right person comes. You want to hear from somebody that's not going to say, okay, so you messed up, just get back up on the horse. You want that person that says, what the hell happened? Why did you do that? Why did you pick up? Why did you, whatever. You want somebody that's going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, you don't want to be coddled. You want to be
No.
held accountable and be truthful.
Especially alcoholics. When you want to first come into a meeting, people say, is this anybody's first time? And you raise your hand, they give you a packet with little booklets and stuff like that. But the most important thing is, people write their phone numbers on the front of the envelope. Especially men for men, women for women. And, they say, look, you don't have to call and tell us all your problems, but you could call and say, I'm just checking in. You could text them, just to talk, and you get to feel, you get to learn, with these people. You get to know them, not only at meetings, but if at night, because when I leave my number, I said, look, this is 24/7 service here. I tell them, anytime, because it's not going to say, well, it's 8:15, I feel okay now. It could be 2:00 in the morning and you're rolling in your bed going nuts. And it's right there. Pick up the phone, call. I tell them, call me. I've had people call me 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It's not a big deal, because I've been there, done that.
Right.
What am I going to do? Say, well, I'm not doing it,
And Marge, if they need a sponsor, they need a 12-step program. That's where you find a sponsor. That's where a sponsor is. Just because they didn't get sober, they need somebody sober in the 12-step. I don't care if you're doing MAT, medically assisted treatment. I don't care if that's what you're doing. When you do MAT, you still have to go to group sessions. You still have to do a one-on-one. And if you're not doing that in that process, then you're not going to the right MAT facility. And, that's what this is all about. This is about, being with people that are sober and helping the next person. If church is your thing, then go to church. Reach out, because you know what, it's crazy, but you can go to the airport and be waiting to get on a plane, and what do? You pass bar after bar after bar in every airport, and you start to feel weak. And that's where you can go to the information table and say, listen, can you do me a favor and page a friend of Bill's, Bill W's, meet me here. That there is help in this process for anyone out there. I don't care if there's a thing that I understand. There's a thing at the concerts, from my understanding. There's a whole group of people that are in recovery, and they had yellow balloons or something, so you knew where the sober section was. Like, they're everywhere. There's help everywhere. And you know what, Marge? They don't, because medically assisted treatment is there's still a lot of people that don't see that as a recovery process. You may be in recovery from the drugs that you were doing, but you're not clean and sober, and that's how a lot of people see that. So it's up to people that are on MAT to find a place to hold a meeting and create their own, you know, just like people in recovery. Some people like AA, some people like NA, some people prefer CA, some people prefer, you know, any of the A's. They don't necessarily like Alcoholics Anonymous, so they do Narcotics Anonymous. There's something for everybody out there, but it was up to people that didn't care to do Alcoholics Anonymous that they came up and
You know, Fonzie promoted all that A stuff. He kind of originated.
yeah. But you go to these places and it's like, this is not a good fit for me.
Take a second.
I
Who?
need something different. So a group of people that feel that they need something different come together and they start their own group. Just like me, I'm not a big Nar-Anon person. I like
Oh, we just lost 6 viewers.
I like their program. I like their literature.
We like them.
I love them. They're
Yeah,
great
lots of
people.
Nar-Anon friends, believe it or not.
However, I don't care for the way they do their meetings. So that's nothing against, you know, Nar-Anon itself. It's just that's not my fit. And like our old facilitator told us, if you know that doesn't fit, find something that does, because you have to have some sort of support in that recovery world, whether you are suffering at it or a family member. Support is the most important thing we can get in this. Barb says, why do you guys ask you if you need a sponsor? Because they see the new person. They see the new person coming into the meeting. They see somebody that is new to this, and they're open. Here I am. I'm open for you. However, when you do sponsorship, it's you, a man sticks with a man, a woman sticks with a woman. You never want to go outside that sex thing, because you know feelings start to occur, because your spouse may not be in recovery. So guess what? You start feeling a different way to your sponsor or sponsee, because they feel like you, and that's why it's so important that you listen to the suggestions, and that is one of the suggestions, and there's a reason for it.
You know, we have a very good friend who had an issue with this, with the sponsee. And I think it was this person tended to be a little too easy on this person. And then this person wasn't following protocol, and then got this other person really irritated because they weren't working a program and showing up. And so that's like one of the reasons. And
Yeah, sounds
that
like
person's sitting right next to me. And you couldn't be as harsh with her as you could have with one of your male sponsees. You know what I mean? You know, as much as you hate to admit it, you were probably a little easier on her than would be somebody else.
Well, the sponsee that I had now is a woman, and you know, it's not working out real well, because I don't know if it's because there's things, because I'm a man, and at least I think I am, and she's a woman, and maybe there are things she doesn't want to come out with,
True.
express to me. But you know, it was early. It was the step 4, writing down all the, you know, who hurt me, I hurt them, and she stopped right there, and you know, and I think it's a case of rah rah, I'm going to do this, you know, first 3 steps, you know, fine and all. Then when time came to go to step 4, she wanted to change the rules a little bit more, like, I'll write it down and I'll tell you. I said, no, that's not the way it worked for me. So I write it down. I show my sponsor what I wrote down, what the reasons were, my part in it, I said, and I gave him the list. And he said, I'm going to read it for a few weeks, and I'll go over it, and then we'll discuss it. And that's the way it was done for me. And I told her, this is the way we're going to do it, because this is the only way I know. I'm not going to, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to pat you on the back. I'm not going to slap you in the face. It's just plain and simple. No highs, no lows. And it's just, like I said, the Mr. Spock thing. It's just like,
You're using that a lot.
yeah, well, it's that.
That's
And
your
I also
catchphrase.
use the expression like the horse blinders. Don't worry about the negative and the positive or anything in between. You put the horse blinders on and you just keep going towards your program. You keep doing what you have to do.
Right.
Because, there's no, for me, the way was presented to me and the way I thought about it was like, you can't sidetrack, or bend a little here, bend a little there. No, I
Right,
can't.
right.
I couldn't bend. I had to go straight and do what needed to be done, which has put me in a place where I am today. I'm a much better person. I know I am because I have people who even after a couple of years still kind of doubted me. They were happy that I was going in the direction I was going, but it took time for them to gain a trust in me, and for me to gain a trust in me too. And it's like now I know my path. Now I know what I have to do. And it's no joke. And now I can make light of things I did in the past. I don't have to whip myself. About the things I did wrong. The things and because I try to straighten my life, make my amends, and do what I have to do. The old clear your side of the street thing there. And I did the best I can, and I'm still trying. Always room for improvement, but it's up to the individual. How bad do you want it? What are you going to do to get it?
Yeah.
How you get it is how you get it, and
Right.
it doesn't matter. My way's not going to work for certain people, and some and other people's way's not going to work for me.
Right.
You go right back to that religion thing. Now, I've been to a lot of meetings, especially when I was in a recovery house. They were all traditional, but some were like traditional, where they didn't over God it. They said the
Yeah.
prayers, they said to our Father, and all that other stuff, and I could live with that. But when it gets too extreme one way or the other, the Zoom meeting I go on, they're agnostic. It's oh my God, it's a mostly agnostic group of drunks is the name of the meeting, and
Pretty welcoming.
yeah, and yeah. Well, the thing is, there's no God thing there, but sometimes you get that person who is extreme. Is like, I'm an atheist and this and that. I don't go for that either. It's like I don't go for one extreme or the other. I'm kind of right down the middle. I know what I need, but for some people, they might need one way or the other. Leaning toward that. The bottom line is, you're going to stay clean and sober. You're going to have a good life. Whatever path you take, that's the path that that leads
Larry
you to a better.
believes in aliens, so
Yeah, yeah, especially ones from Mexico. Oh,
they
But I'm fine.
beamed him up.
yeah,
And Margie, again, you have to find your path. No, you're not going to direct anybody in any way. Clinics are there. They have counselors. They have people that run groups. But if you're not finding it in that particular area, then they need to go somewhere else because it's not a reputable place.
I think I was starting
Like-
a support group.
That is the
Anger
biggest
management.
thing.
Bad angry
And
bastards.
You're buying a
and
punching
if
bag.
you don't like the STEP programs, then you're not going to find a sponsor because the sponsors are in STEP programs. And just because you may have walked into one or three that you didn't care for doesn't mean number 5 isn't the fit for you. It's a matter of you finding the fit that works best for you. It's a matter of letting people know where you're at. You go to a STEP program, a fellowship, and you have to take the God out of it and replace it with the spiritual awakening.
Yep.
Like whatever it is. My uncle always said, like if I'm struggling and I can't get a hold of anybody on my call list or my sponsor, if that doorknob is my God at the time, that's who's my God at the time. If I need to reach out to somebody, I'll scream to the clouds. I don't care who it is. You just got to get the shit out. But you have to understand that the fellowships are there for this sole purpose. Like, this was the first form of treatment for alcoholism and drugs. And it works if you work it. I mean, that's why they have that slogan. And a lot of people are so turned off by the God thing because they just don't understand the program. And you want a sponsor, you want phone numbers, you're going to find them in the fellowships. And if you know people that are in the MAP program and they're not getting the support or the help that they need, go to a church, find a hall, something, somewhere that you can have a meeting. It's just a matter of, people coming together and finding these places to hold these meetings. Anybody can start a meeting. I started my own meeting. And then you have this. There's so many avenues that can be taken for things like this. There's, therapists. Yeah, you need help right now. Yeah, there is a month waiting list. Thank you, COVID. But find something before then. Reaching out to somebody that that is sober, that can be there for you. Anybody can be your sponsor, but nobody's going to be able to help you unless they've walked in your shoes.
Yeah, but Barb makes a comment here. By the way, Larry, Barb says your honesty is nice. She enjoys your honesty in there.
No? What else could I be?
That's true. You're real.
I'm not going to make.
It's
Make
an
a story.
honest program.
Yeah.
She says the place I went to really geared to the drug addiction instead of alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean they can't help you, because the ironic part is my loved one, drug of choice was heroin, and he went through this program, that program, and the group that resonated with him, that helped him in the end, was a bunch of old heads from AA, where he drank also, but his drug of choice was heroin, was opiates, and it was a bunch of AA guys that got through to him and really resonated with him, and so addiction's addiction, regardless of what. The what it is, whether it be drugs or alcohol or both or whatever. I mean, you just need the support and the guidance. I mean, it isn't like a certain protocol from one drug to another. I mean, it's the biggest thing is abstaining from your drug of choice. I mean,
we're all addicts. It doesn't matter what it was.
Exactly.
Whether you drank it, smoked it, shot it up.
And remember, it's a substance.
Could be gambling. It's it's an addiction. It's a reward system in the brain. They're all similar. I mean, and your brain gets hijacked by these things, and you just need ways to cope with it and to trick it and to get back to a normal, healthy lifestyle. Regardless what your drug of choice is. People find comfort amongst others that are more like them, I guess, to an extent. But it doesn't mean it won't work. I'm just saying, some people like to go to Cocaine Anonymous, and it was never their drug ever.
Right.
Yeah.
They just like their format and the way they operate and stuff. And I know many people that went to CA, and that's what resonated with them, and that wasn't even their drug of choice.
Right.
So
and we just need to get like we do with God in there.
we've been talking about God all night.
That spiritual awakening versus
thing,
God.
And that's fine with me, folks. It's usually
And
her
alcohol and drugs, they're both substances. So just take the word alcohol out. It's substance. Substance is a substance. It's a brain altering substance, whether it's alcohol or drugs. So, it's so important to try and understand that, because when I first started going through this, one of the first books that was given to me at a meeting was something about alcoholics, and I was reading it and I'm like, it's not resonating with me because everything is alcohol, and like I just couldn't get it. And then I got I wasn't given it. I paid for the Nar-Anon book at a meeting through Nar-Anon, and I read it and it resonated more with me because a lot of it had to do with drugs. The book I had mentioned earlier, Sober, How to Get Your Loved Ones Sober, is based mostly on alcohol, but I've just replaced the word alcohol with substance. And and that's what we have to do. Sometimes we just have to change it up a little bit just to get through it, to get that help. And education is by far the best way to help us and support us, because everybody out there is there to help us. You just have to find the right person.
Yeah.
You really have to find the right person. And even in our family parent group, it was always just the parents or the spouses or friends or relatives that were in the meetings. And after COVID, things started to open back up, and we started doing one Saturday a month. And Larry would start showing up, and Fred, he was also another guest on the show, and to hear the loved one side and the family side of it together has helped so many people in our family group. To hear somebody that is struggling is so important.
Both sides of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to interrupt a little bit. And when I first went to the program, it was the traditional 12 steps, and with the big book, and there was some God references in there. But that's the thing is now they have agnostic meetings and all, and they're not just those 12 steps. There are different versions of 12 steps and different meetings. Like there's one meeting I go online, they have 6 steps. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, what's going to work for you? What's going to work for me? So, I listen to them, and I don't, it doesn't bother me about the religious thing or the non-religious thing. The spiritual thing is like, maybe that was the answer. What, all of a sudden, all the years of drinking, what got me to all of a sudden change my mind? Was it, I know the first thing was my cousin, after, like I said, 1,000 times trying to get help from me, why not one time it worked? And why did I change my mind? Did something flash down on me? I didn't see any bolt of lightning or anything, but something changed me. And but I'm the type is like, I don't credit. I don't deal with that. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened, happened. I appreciate that. I'm not going to dissect it. It changed, whatever happened changed my life.
Right.
But you don't have to be stuck on the traditional 12 steps, is what I'm trying to say, from, the big book. Because there are different versions. There's like a big book, I forget the title, Getting Sober Without God, I think is one book. And, I hear people talk about that, and they're very happy with it, And like I said, whatever gets you sober, whatever gets you clean, whatever gets your life going together.
That's the truth. I mean, everybody's path is different.
Yeah.
There's no written protocol on what your path is. I mean, everybody's path is different. And that's why we try to give you all different angles, all different aspects for people to see. But what might work for you.
Yeah, like the big book originally was like God as we understand Him. Some people's God, I know one person's God is not the other person's God, mm-hmm. or their vision of God, or if they even believe in a God. But,
And the second half of our show is going to involve politics.
So, yeah. Yes.
Did you see? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about any weather balloons or anything on this program. I'll
Yes.
just tell you that's the way it
Yeah.
is.
If you don't like a bose, go fly a kite. Yeah.
Go fly a kite. Well, I take that personal. But yeah, see, you newcomers, you can see we kind of cover everything, all the bases. Yeah, I mean, we go around, we talk about different things, and
Yeah.
that's what helps get you educated, and it helps you feel a lot easier in your skin when it comes to your loved
Yeah.
one's addiction or your, because that's the only thing that's going to help you get through this and understand your loved one's addiction or your own addiction. Is is to educate yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, and because if you are the one trapped in a grasp of it, you might not even know why you do the things you do.
Right.
I mean, it's not right. You don't want to do it, but it's just the overwhelming urge to do so. And that's your brain getting hijacked, and it's just taking over your life. I mean, you can't control it. That's why you got to learn coping skills and different things to help deal with that, because the brain it's very powerful, and that's why I always say is the most fascinating part of all this that I learned. The whole thing with the brain and the brain chemistry and this and that causes you to do things. It was when I was finally able to make sense of some of this, why things are going on. I mean, because I need answers to things sometimes, and a lot of people are like that.
Yes.
And
Barb,
for-
have a good night.
We're gonna pop in and have a coffee one morning over there.
I know.
If we could just get our ass out of bed early enough. Then.
I hope you work till like 12 noon because my ass ain't getting up that early.
I love that water ice place up there in Yardley, that ice house.
Yes.
Might be able to do a stop in for a macaroon and a trade free coffee, and then go over and get a
Right.
water ice.
And Eric says humility saved my life and laser pointers.
Laser
Just saying. And Marge says people debate if addiction is a choice or a disease. Who cares? Just got to get everyone better. We're not going to get everyone better. I would hope to get one person, I don't care, a day. Like, it's just, it'll never go away. It's been here for as long as alcohol has been provided. And it's just how many we can help. And
We love you, Barb. We hope to have you on the show one day. We're going to put you on. We're going to mask like the Masked Singer.
yes.
Have you on here?
I have 2
It's our-
openings in March
There-
if
there-
you want to join us because it's Women's
Yeah, it's Women's Month of
International
March.
Women's Month. So
Right.
all of March I want strong women. Okay, so we'll make it in at 11. Send me the address. But
It's Women's Month, so me and
Yeah.
Larry will be out doing manly things. We'll
Yeah.
like shop for
I
tools.
can cross dress.
there you go.
Well, look at
do
tools
the
and
helium
stuff.
balloon and
Oh
change my
gosh.
voice. Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? And I say this, Marge, and this is just and I've heard it before. I forget where we heard it, but we choose to pick up. We choose not to read that 1900 page insert in the prescription that's provided. We choose not to listen to the doctor when he gives it to us. We just want the pill to make us better. The problem is when you have an addictive brain, the addiction chooses you. So it's a choice all around because we choose not to listen. And the addiction chooses us because I can take medication and not have a problem with it. I can go out and have a drink and not have a problem with it. Where a person with an addictive brain, you can't tell you have an addictive brain until that substance hits that receptor and opens up a whole new world for you. And once that world is open, you continue to want that feeling. Getting back from that is very difficult. So, I mean, that's just my take on it.
It was like my first Homesburg cream donut. I know, but I'm a receptor of me. I can't stop thinking about them stupid ass things. They're the. I'm sorry. Is this mic on? Hello.
Oh, with that Saturday meeting, so you could bring them again.
Remember
Yeah.
that things? Oh my gosh, it was terrible. The floor was. That's a funny story.
You
Yeah.
might just see us in there.
The floor covered with powdered sugar. They didn't know
Yeah.
what the hell went on in that meeting.
But and listen to your husband, Barb. We have 10 minutes left, and we have March coming up again. We have on.
That's cool. Your husband's behind you on that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we can keep you anonymous.
We can put a bag over your head, put little holes
Real
in your
nice.
mouth.
Real nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking a tasteful mask.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do a mask too. But I just can't pixelate you. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, we're not going to make it look like Chinese porn here. That it pixelates. Not that I know anything about that. I seen it on a National Geographic channel.
You too, Betty Ann, have a great weekend. So we have 15 minutes late.
Yeah, no callers. Come on, people.
Yeah, we need some callers. Betty Ann, call in and disguise your voice. Thank you.
But in March we have coming up, I'm just trying to pull it up. We have the 3rd, Marge will be back. She is a parent. We have on
You guys all love Margie last time she was on here.
Great.
Yes. We have Christine D coming in. This will be her first appearance, but she has spoken for me at our family parent group. On the 18th, we have Barb K back in the house. And the 25th,
Women's Month. Women Power.
25th, we have a 24th. Is that 24th is
Let's
open?
make up some Women Hear Me Roar shirts.
Yeah, the 24th we have open,
Helen
and
ready?
the 31st. So,
Or hear me, bitch.
you know, we're looking for those holes to be filled. And I just booked April 14th. No, April. Ba-da-ba. I think it is April 23rd. It might be. The famous John Crumbar will be in the house.
All right.
National Geographic is soft porn. I used to get them Time Life books when I was a kid. Let me tell you.
Yeah, let
I
me
was
see.
probably like 10. I didn't know why I was looking at them pygmy pictures, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't take my eyes off them.
Yes.
Can't imagine why.
Mom, when's the next Time Life book coming?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yes.
this one's about dinosaurs. Ah.
So, again, thanks, Lara, for popping in and,
problem.
and
Anytime.
saving us with
Yeah.
with things to talk about because and again, they it's redundant. Sometimes we get most of the time we get very redundant here, but it's addiction, and that's what addiction
That's redundant,
is.
too.
That's what
And
recovery
we're only getting new
is.
viewers, so we
Yeah.
got to recap on things a little
Uh-huh.
bit and all. But the
Yep.
redundancy is what makes it stick in our heads,
Yeah.
Just
over
like
and
the-
over and over
Just
again.
like the corny phrases and all that we've in our sayings. But it's so funny. We hear so many people, like in our big meeting the other day, a lot of people brought up, how them phrases they've heard growing up that they still stick with them and you still remember them.
Yeah.
Like recovery works if you work it. That's mine.
6
And
minutes,
nothing
huh?
changes. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
Yep. And one day at a time. Easy does it.
Mr. Spock.
Yeah. And I want to add before we close here,
Sure.
saying I heard today, said, if your nose runs and your feet smell, you were made upside down. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
There you go.
But
Words of wisdom from Larry. Stuart Smalley.
Soupy Sales. I heard that
Right.
today.
Soupy's, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Holy
I know,
crap.
I haven't heard that in ages. And
Soupy Sales for the win.
yeah, and remember, I'm always here.
Really? Wow.
Who?
That's weird.
There's an old guy that works talking about soupy sales.
See, there's a
Yeah.
home in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tiny
It's in the
Tim.
black and white
3:30 every day on
with the
Jewish
color.
Life Television. 3 times on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Not that I would know that. Not that I would watch it constantly.
Yes. I'm going to be reaching out to
Charlie Weaver.
I'm actually going to be reaching out to another strong, wonderful woman that was on the show before
Paul Lynn.
that somebody
Chackles.
is interested of having back again. So I'll keep you posted when that comes through. Hopefully she's willing to do it. But remember, guys, we're here.
I'm trying to get more hunks on for you women, but for the meantime, you're stuck with me and Larry.
Yeah. Yeah. Bargain basement.
I
Yeah.
get it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're on a low budget here.
Yeah.
And I thank everybody out there that sent us prayers. Everything worked out perfect, and
Captain Noah.
Captain Noah.
Captain Noah. And
Cap-
Missy Lane.
And
Boy, I
who
opened up
was
a
it?
can of worms, didn't I?
Who was it that you had the hots for, hon?
Pixan, baby.
Pixan.
Pixan. I don't know why, but I found her very attractive.
She only had green heels.
I was
so
only
it'd
like
been that.
5.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And like I was glued to the television set. I wouldn't even go to the bathroom. I just had to wait till the show was over.
Yeah, and to answer Marge's question on why she can take the prescription pills and not abuse them, the prescription medication, is because you're using it to help a certain situation. So that particular particular receptor in your brain is just accepting it and taking control of what it needs to take control of. And you know that how easily it can turn into something different. So that's why Sally Star. But
She had good cartoons, but that was
Oh, those boots, oh man.
those boots.
nothing like Nancy.
Those were walking.
Not like Nancy Sinatra's
Yeah.
boots.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom,
But
boom.
that's
boom.
why a lot of people take medication and
I'm
it
gonna get
just
Eric into a lather.
and it just really masks the problem that you're having. It doesn't cure it. It doesn't fix it. It just masks it. But over time, what happens is, if it's for, medicine for pain, it comes to a time where your receptors build up, and you need to take a little bit more. So, you have to be careful with anything.
And everybody's different. I mean, like, there's always exceptions to the fact that it's, I mean, like, it's, there's not a cookie cutter answer for all of it. I mean, you're very fortunate, Marge, that you can, being that you had a past of addiction. It's good that, you can take them responsibly. I mean, but many people have to be very careful because, like we said before, even if it's not your original drug of choice, your brain's going to say, yeah, this is okay, but this isn't what I'm really looking for. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just,
That next step up.
It's getting me by now, but it's not what I'm looking for. That's why some people, with an opiate addiction, start experimenting with alcohol again. And damn, man, 99% of the time, it takes them back down that rabbit hole.
Somebody sent me a text. Been listening, and Larry's words of wisdom are interesting. I think he would make a good sponsor for my son. He's into alien abductions too.
Just watch out for the probes.
The probing guy. Larry had a hard time with the probing.
No, I loved it. I mean, that's why I'm waiting for him to take
He
me
was standing
back.
out there with a tinfoil hat on. I had to bring him in.
And Margie, you can share my information with anybody. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I'm here to listen. I'm here to do whatever I can for anybody that.
Surely, share as many as you can. I mean, the more viewers, the better. The bigger circle of friends we get, the more information we can access. I mean, we love it.
And Barb, and that's where you have to talk to your doctor and let him know your situation. they're there to guide you through that. And it's important that you give your medication to somebody responsible in the house that can help you with that. You know, if you can't trust yourself.
And many people, even after major surgeries now, they've realized they can get by with Tylenol.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking big major surgeries, so talk to them about that option. I mean, doctors are so fast to prescribe that pain medication. You know what I mean? It's not always really necessary.
Right. And maybe the first 3
Especially
days.
with like dental work and all.
Yeah.
Like, you need these Vicodins. You know, I didn't need them. I
No.
took a Tylenol and I toughed it out. And 2 days later, I was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
wasn't overbearing.
that's the most important. I follow a woman on Facebook that just had some major surgery. She had open heart surgery, the whole gamut. And, you know, they cracked her chest open. You know, she was in major pain, but she was
And
an
recovered.
opiate abuser, heroin. And, you know, she talked to her doctor, she talked to her sponsor, like whoever
And
she
they have other
went
options.
to.
They don't even let you know. They got nerve blocks, and there's a lot of other things that people can do.
Yeah, let your doctor know. I let mine know. Well, he knew my situation,
Yep.
and it's always for the better.
So what are my options? Do I have any options? Do you think I really need this stuff?
And that's what
Because we've been led to believe we've been over the years we've been
We've been
molded
drugged.
to believe we got to go to that painkiller.
right.
You know, because that's what you do. It helps you get by, it makes it easier. And doctors used to push that on you like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they get
for
paid
whatever
for it.
reasons, it's the easiest route. I think a lot of times if you even look at it, it's not always needed. You know, many times it's not really needed.
Doctors still push it on, even if you tell them 100 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like my
Yeah.
producer said there, doctors still pressure. You tell them like 100 times. You know, that's why you go, listen, how many times I got to tell you I'm in recovery? We won't talk about the surgery. It's of a sensitive nature.
But-
He even was like, just let me give you the prescription. He's like, just let me give you the prescription in case you change your mind.
Just
I'm
give
like,
me
"What?"
a bag of frozen peas.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
But that is, I mean, I know she won't mind me saying this because she's been on the show and she shared it, but there was somebody that, you know, gave birth all natural, and the doctors kept insisting, even with the big red flag on the
Oh, you're
on
gonna
the
need
folder,
this, that, and all that. She had to,
we
like,
want to give you
she had
some.
to get downright nasty and say,
Yeah.
no, what don't you get?
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, we need to stitch you up. You know, you're gonna need some major stitching." And she's like, "Stitch me up.
That baby's had the biggest head we've ever
Give me
seen.
Motrin." Like,
Both of them.
you know, and that's what you have to advocate for yourself, and that's so important. It is 10:33. I'm so glad that you guys popped in. I hope everybody got something out of the show tonight. Please feel free, if you have anybody or know anybody that is in need, just give us a call, 267-737-8031. Text me, and I'll you know, as soon as I'm available, I will call you back if I do not answer the phone. But we are here, we are listening, and we are here to help
We are here,
anybody.
we are listening.
Yeah, and I'm going to thank you people for letting me, come on
You
tonight.
always welcome.
Yeah.
You're
you know.
always
we
welcome.
always enjoy your company,
You always.
whether on or off the air. And that's what I tell her, people. Just remember, recovery works if you work it.
Yeah, steroids are not good. All right, guys. So, peace out. We'll see you next Friday.